I want to get to what the Toronto Raptors are going to do during this offseason. Because there's already been some dialogue. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I've long been of the opinion that Anunoby should be a tradable commodity. And there seems to be at least a growing opinion that might actually happen. There are some teams that apparently are interested in him, which doesn't surprise me. And understand that I understand he's a very good player, but the Raptors need, in my opinion, a shooter. And he is strictly a corner shooter who has a pretty high percentage from the corner, but doesn't do volume three-point shooting. First of all, let's start with, would you consider moving him? Jones, I'll go to you first.
Always consider. Look, if you can trade Wayne Gretzky or Wilt Chamberlain or, Shaquille O'Neal, you can trade anybody. So that's always looking to improve your team. I think he's more than a corner three-point shooter, Bob. I think the biggest issue with OG has been his availability.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that, to me, he's coveted. Size, strength, ability to defend multiple positions in today's NBA has guarded everybody from Nikola Jokic to Steph Curry. He's, in that sense, he's really, really valuable. And I think for me, it's about OG being available and staying healthy. I would consider trading him because, like I said, you consider trading everybody, but it depends what I'm getting back. If I'm not getting back somebody who can do at least most of what he does and something else, as you said, you wanted a shooter, then I'm going to hang on to him.
Well, I said I wanted a shooter, but isn't that the primary need right now for this team?
I mean, it's like saying shoes. Everybody needs shoes. You always go ahead and buy the shoes, but I think OG can be that, and I've seen his game develop too, where he's playmaking, he's taking the ball to the basket. I think he's a good shooter. If you want him to be just a shooter, I mean, I don't think that benefits the Raptors. He needs to continue to round out his game, but he is not a bad shooter, Bob. He's not a guy that you would say, well, we need to get rid of him. To me, to get a shooter.
Devlin, I'm not being I don't want to be critical in any way of Anunoby. I acknowledge what he is and everything that Paul said. The issue is, what does this team need to take the next step forward? And the consensus is either a big, and there's a lot of controversy over whether you actually need one or want one, back to the basket kind of guy, or do you need a three-point shooter? Am I wrong?
Well, I'm not saying, no, I wouldn't say you're wrong, but there's a couple of different levels here. Number one, the most important thing for OG is to put together a season where he's playing 70 games, mm-hmm. as Jonesy mentioned. Last season, he played 48. The Toronto Raptors were 30-18 with him on the court because of all the things that Jonesy talked about, his ability to guard multiple positions. And we know Nick Nurse, that is number one, right? Do you guard? And then he has expanded his game. He can shoot the corner three. That continues to grow. And also remember, okay, he's young. I know he has years in the league, but he is still young. It does not surprise me that we hear the rumblings. And again, I would just caution everyone, when you hear rumblings, it is never from within the Raptors organization. We heard this last year with Pascal. It is always external because there are many teams that want what the Toronto Raptors have. Yeah. And if you look at the track record of Masai Ujiri, you never hear anything. All of us have covered the Raptors for a long time. Obviously, Jonesy, a lot longer than most. And you would always hear rumblings. You never hear rumblings coming from within the organization. He holds that very close as to what he wants to do or deals he's about to do. Now, when you look at the big picture, there's no question that you want to acquire as many great young players as you can. And I think that's what they're doing. And then what does that do? It puts you in a position to do what you've done before, which was acquire Kawhi Leonard, right?
Yes.
With
Yes.
DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan. So to what Jonesy said, look, there is, I believe, a belief we need to continue to get more and more talented young players that can play multiple positions, that can guard multiple positions. And then when we feel it's ready to strike and make a deal, that we do that. Now, to get back to what you're talking about with respect to what does this team need? If we're talking about getting to the NBA finals, you do need a shooter, more than likely somebody off of the bench to help the second unit, to help the spacing, right? So you don't have to necessarily get rid of an OG Anunoby to get that. And then when we discuss bigs, I call it the new age big,
Yeah.
right? I don't think that there's a need anymore for a back to the basket, because Pascal Siakam is going to provide you the back to the basket in different matchup situations. But you do need somebody that can rim protect. You do need somebody that can run the floor. You do need somebody that can guard multiple positions. So look at the Boston Celtics. They have
Matt,
active
I was
bigs.
I was
right?
just going to say that. I was
Yeah.
just going to say that. Robert Williams III is the new age big guy. Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
Those are the new age big guys. And you need a guy like that to play against a Jokic or an Embiid. And look, maybe it's just me. I think you can get one of those guys on the cheap, the same way you
I
can,
agree.
your scouting can find a shooter.